Okay, let's get right in there and start playing with Elastic Audio. I've picked out some loops we're going to play with, but first I want to clean up my session window. So just to make things a little clearer, I'm just going to hide my tracks display, tracks and groups, by clicking this arrow down here. And I will hide my regions area by clicking over here. Just gives me a little more space to work with. I want to show the tempo ruler because we'll be working a lot with tempo in these lessons. And of course I could show meter if I'm working with different meters, but I won't do that for right now. And you'll notice bars and beats is my default ruler. If I had another ruler selected, I can make it the default ruler by just clicking on it. And of course I can hide it by deselecting it from the menu. I can't deselect my master. You see it's dimmed out, so I'd have to change to another master ruler like bars and beats, and then I could hide this. Or I can just option click it. It's a quick way to get rid of a ruler. So what else? I want to be in conductor mode because I want to follow the changes on the tempo ruler. If this is off, then I set my tempo manually here, and I'm not following this. In fact, it says manual tempo. But we're going to be doing a lot of things with the tempo ruler, so I'm going to keep that conductor on. And lastly, I'll go to grid mode by pressing F4, or I could, of course, click up here. And that'll help me align things to bars and beats. Okay, so I have one other thing that I want to mention, and let me just show a track here. I'm just going to create a quick track. In Pro Tools HD, you have different ways of allocating voices. Now, typically, this is not something you worry about, but for a variety of reasons, which we won't go into in this tutorial, you may want to assign a track to a specific voice. In order for Elastic Audio to work, you must use automatic voicing. You must have this set to dynamic. And again, that's the default for tracks in Pro Tools. If you have the LE or the M-powered versions, I don't believe they have automatic voicing, so you don't need to worry about it. Okay, I'm just going to delete this track. Okay, now let's look at some loops. Now, one of the things I'm going to show you later is that Pro Tools has this really nice thing called Digibase, which lets me look through my entire file system and grab loops and audition them in real time, even when the session is playing back. We're going to save that for later, though. And I'm going to start just by grabbing some loops from my Finder. And I've gathered some together. I've categorized them. We'll go into our Beats folder here. And I have a kick loop. Now with Leopard, if you're using a Mac, that's version 10.5 of the operating system, you have something called Quick Look, where you can just press the space bar and audition loops. And I can click another loop and audition that one. And then a percussion loop. Okay, and then pressing spacebar again makes it go away. And incidentally, Quick Look works for lots and lots of files, word processing files and graphics files. It's a really great tool that a lot of people don't use. Okay, so now I'm going to take this kick loop and I'm just going to drag it into my session here. And we'll bring it over to beat 1. And you'll notice that in the loop name, it says it's 130 beats per minute. My session is set to 120 beats per minute, so that's going to be a little bit of a problem. We'll let Elastic Audio help us with that a little bit later. And going back to my Finder window, I'll grab this beat loop here. Okay, and you'll notice that's set to 129 beats per minute, and you'll also notice that it's longer. So this is probably maybe a 4-bar loop, and this is a 2-bar, or this is 4, this is 8. We'll figure that out in a moment. And then I want to grab a bass, and I have one in my bass folder. Pretty simple. And this is at 132 beats per minute. And then finally, I have an arpeggio that I had picked out earlier. It's this one here. Very nice. I will drag that right in here. Okay, now, I don't even have to play it for you, but just so you can hear, it's going to be a mess. This is 140 beats per minute, 132, 129, 130, all different tempos. Well, that just didn't work. So we're going to use Elastic Audio, and we're going to fix this all up, make it sound really nice.